Hey, this is Anthony Effinger. I'm back with another edition of Distant Voices, and today I'm talking with photographer Aaron Wessling. How are you?
I'm doing good, man. How are you?
I'm well. I understand you've developed an interesting hobby during the pandemic and quarantine.
Well, I think it's like more of a hobby that existed before that was like taken taken to more extreme levels. But yeah, I've been this is my second year growing giant pumpkins, which is a thing. It actually is a thing.
Growing giant pumpkins. Now, how you got into this a year before, 2 years ago?
So we've gardened. My wife and I have gardened for a long time, and it was like I think 3 years ago. I was just like, man, I'm tired of growing these very small pumpkins, and it would be fun to have a big jack-o'-lantern. So I like got on Google and like came out the other side. I think at some point last year, bought a seed from a guy who had grown an 1,800-pound pumpkin in Michigan. Yeah, they're like the size of like a VW at that point. But had a really small spot to grow it in our house just off of Hawthorne last year, and ended up like just going like full OCD on it at that point, and I grew an 829 pounder last year, and it was a small like neighborhood spectacle like at that point. Then we moved into a new house day before lockdown, so kind of used the opportunity. We just have like a really small area to grow it behind our garage, and just kind of also went full in. It's become like a neighborhood attraction, which is I think been like a welcome. I think at this point it's been a welcome distraction from like literally everything. So
So
yeah,
you said you got the seeds from the guy in Michigan who grows these monsters.
yeah. Well,
How much?
there's
How much
there's
is in the seed? How important is the seed?
the seed is like the primary. I think that's like the primary importance. The genetics, like you can grow a like 100-pound pumpkin from like a Big Mac seed or like a giant pumpkin seed you buy at like Portland Nursery. To grow something really big, you just have to buy one from a farmer who's been doing this for a while. And the further I've like dove into this hobby through like like Facebook groups, like online forums, stuff like that, I've gotten to know a lot of the guys. Most of them do not live in the city, have a little bit more space. But yeah, there's I mean, dozens and dozens of people doing this in Oregon and Washington. I think the largest pumpkin last year at the Way Off down in Bowman's, which is in Gervais, was north of 2,000 pounds. Yeah,
Okay, so
crazy.
how
So like small potatoes in this entire game, but like in the city, it's still interesting.
how much when do you plant this thing?
It goes so you start the seed, and man, you're gonna get way more information than you want to hear. You start the seed indoors in April usually, and then you take the start and put it outside in early May. Is usually just depending on the weather.
Okay, and then do you use fertilizer for this?
You do? Yeah. I mean, it's the same as any other plant. You're going heavy nitrogen in the beginning, then just I mean, it operates like any other plant, just on like a much larger scale. Like
Okay, and so when you go out of your house and after a night of sleep, do you notice a difference in this thing?
so this it depends on some people's will grow like 50 pounds in a day. I think at the largest point this year it was growing just north of 30 pounds a day. So yeah, they grow mostly at night. So you'll walk out and at like the peak growth, like over the course of like 20 days, you will notice it'll go from volleyball to like larger than basketball, and then like kind of exponentially at that point. It's freakish for sure.
Overnight from volleyball to basketball?
Oh yeah, I mean like they literally will put on like 30, like the bigger ones will put on 30 to 50 pounds in a 24-hour period.
That is incredible. So I'm a gardener, and I think gardening has saved me during this pandemic, this election, these
Yeah,
fires. It's been a
totally.
balm to my soul. How has this thing made you feel? Has it been helpful?
I mean, I think it's been uh I think last year was like the most novel year of doing it. Like watching something like that grow for the first time, I feel like I was like instantly desensitized to it. But we've got a school right down the street, and we've got neighborhood, families coming by all the time. Kids are checking up on the progress. So kind of watching that through their eyes is, I mean, I can't imagine being like, a 3-foot tall kid and walking up to a pumpkin that's, bigger than you are. So that's been, I think the community connection has definitely been the most enjoyable part of it. Now that we can actually like kind of socialize outside. So
Yeah, sure.
yeah.
Were you a gardener before?
Yeah, I mean, I've been gardening for 5 years now. And I mean, we were, just doing the regular like tomatoes, cucumbers, green sort of thing. And then this just was, and like I explained earlier, just kind of like an accidental offshoot of like online curiosity. So it's just, I think it's like a symptom of the online rabbit hole, like turning into something that's actually community based at the end of the day, which is a kind of nice change from everything else that's happening at this point.
Can you eat these things, or what do you do?
So if you want to have a lot of fun, Google the Oregon Zoo. It's called, oh man, spacing on the name right now. But every year people will donate the pumpkins to the zoo, and the elephants love eating them. So there's tons of great videos of elephants smashing and eating and rolling around in pumpkins. I think, yes, there's nothing stopping you from eating a giant pumpkin, but they're not like great pie quality because they're so fibrous and watery. So I haven't tried.
Can you make I mean, I love pumpkin seeds out of pumpkins. Can you make the pumpkin seeds, or are they just enormous too?
I mean, you can definitely make pumpkin seeds. Most people so last year, my father-in-law was very gracious. We were out of the country when the pumpkin, another long story, pumpkin was on display down in Eugene. He went down and harvested this, and I sent out just over 100 seeds to other gardeners in Portland. So we started a little community group, and I think there's probably right around 10 or 20, like over 100-pound pumpkins right now, littered across East and West Portland at the current time. I think the seeds made it to Montana, Texas, and a couple other spots too. So it's
my God, I want some of these.
Dude, I got one for you for next year. You just have to have the space for it is all.
How much water do they need?
That's a good question. I don't have it. I mean, they take, like, when it's like those like 90 or 100-degree days, it's a ton of water for sure.
Okay. All right. So can we see this thing?
Totally. You just got to give me a minute I'm up in the office. And
all right, we're just gonna follow you downstairs here.
All right, cool. Man, I wish I would have cleaned the house at this point.
No sweat. It's quarantine. Yeah. It's COVID. Everything. It's all good.
Yeah. All right, almost there. Excuse me, guys, coming through. So that's it right there. I don't know if you can like see.
Oh my God.
So it's like the size of like a large boulder at this point. This one's also like way more orange than the one was last year, which has been a lot of fun. And then the actual like plant got decimated by all of the winds. Like right before the fires, it was like 60-mile-an-hour winds like took out the plant. So that used to be a full plant, and that's like just under 250 square feet, which ideally you want like 750 to 1,000 square feet for these guys. But like everything, it's got a pretty side. But that's the stem side right there.
How much do you think this weighs right now?
So this is right, there's like a way of estimating where you tape measure and cross-check against a chart that people have compiled for like 50 years. So the estimate right now is like right around 820, 830 pounds. So pretty similar to, yeah.
So where's that going to put you in the competition, do you think?
If last year is any measure, it would probably be like right around 10th in the state, maybe a little bit, be a little bit less. So again, small potatoes, man.
Oh my God, that's still amazing. I can't believe that.
Yeah, we can throw the cat up on there. That works, but yeah. So Welcome to the weird world of giant pumpkin growing, man.
I love it. I love it. So, when you're not growing pumpkins, you're a photographer, right?
Yep, been a freelance photographer for 3 years now. So I do some work with Willamette Week, some photojournalism, some art copy, like hustle like everyone else is right now.
Of
But
course.
yeah, that cycling and just trying to get through the next year and stay relatively sane would be ideal.
Listen, I'm right there with you. And if it takes growing giant pumpkins, I think it's a great thing
Sure.
to do.
Yeah, man. I got a seed for you for next year, so you can join the cult. It's
I,
great.
I want to. I can't wait to do this. I'm a gardener. I love this kind of stuff. All I got is some pretty big squash, but I got nothing like that.
I mean, you can see that with like squash or zucchini. You can see how fast, if you had like the genetics, they just blow up overnight in the same way. So, yeah, yeah. You never be having this conversation today, did you?
No, this is amazing. I love it. Aaron,
That's a
thanks
good
so
time.
much for giving us a tour of Pumpkin Land.
Totally, man. It was a pleasure talking to you.
All right, be good.
Yeah. All right, man. See ya.